forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing, Men Make Moves and Suckers Stand Still, and Nerve DJs. And we got a extra special guest who is so fucking patient. I cannot believe it. The most phenomenal individual in the history of mankind, the chief soul surgeon, LJM herself.
Peace.
How you doing, Queen?
Peace, peace, peace. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Does it sound better?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. I love your background so much better now, but thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, yeah, I had to come to the crib. So I got a little setup at the crib. I've been doing the studio because it's a long story. Anyway, How you doing? How's your family?
I'm good. The family is cool. We are all safe in the car, heading home after the grocery fiasco. But it is all good. Sometimes I wish I could be like my boyfriend. He's just like calm through everything. And meanwhile, I'm just standing over there like, my anxiety is going crazy. It's too many people, these long lines. What's happening? But,
That's the beauty of a relationship, though. A good one.
Yeah, he's literally like, I don't want to say we're complete opposites, but when it comes to like emotionally calming, yeah, he has that down a little bit better than me.
Okay, all right. So, geez, when you say chief soul surgeon, what do you mean?
Well, really, that's just because I have my organization called Speakeasy Go Hard, and our purpose is to provide trauma relief to the soul, right? A lot of people are out here and they are victims, or not, I don't want to say victims, but survivors of gun violence. They've either lost someone to gun violence, they've either been shot, they have a lived experience somehow involving gun violence. And the thing is in today's society, we don't pay enough attention to mental health or emotions and the real healing that goes into like solidifying that trauma. Because what happens is when we don't solidify that trauma, we start making trauma-informed decisions, and that means our decisions are not 100% logic. They may not be the best for us. And that's what we end up facing with that. So I call myself a soul surgeon because the work that I'm doing is really meant to tackle and heal the soul personally.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Where does it start for you? Like when did you decide I want to heal other people's souls? Because that's some difficult shit. Not only that, like in doing that, you take on a lot of pain.
Yeah, you can. You can. If you don't know how to cleanse yourself after you do the work and release that energy, I know after I finish doing the work, I normally go for a walk and release the energy back down into the earth so that it can change into transformative energy. So that's what I do. But to be honest, I mean, Speakeasy's been in existence now for like 4 years. I mean, and that happened because I needed my own healing. Speakeasy came about because my best friend, she ended up getting murdered due to gun violence here in Cleveland. And I had never had anybody taken from me that was that close to me in such a violent manner. You got it? Or you want me to get it? Okay. In such a violent manner. So that's really why I started Speakeasy. I started Speakeasy. So at first I started it so there could be a stage so people could be unapologetically authentic. You know, when you go into certain spaces, it's always like, oh, you're too black, or it's always something how they want to wash you down. So that's why I originally started. But then when she got killed in October, I realized Speakeasy was a space for me to go to like heal and to release in a positive way versus responding in anger.
How'd you find out?
Because I got on stage. I mean,
No. Unfortunately, when she was taken from us, how'd you find out?
it's my other best friend, Crystal. She called me like at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, those phone calls always come at three
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's just how they play out. So I had ended up getting a call from home because I was in D.C. at the time. I had just won Miss Black America D.C. That was the other reason why Speakeasy was jumping, just because I had finished leaving the pageant world. But I mean, it kind of just played out like that.
Wow. So you go from one of the biggest highs to one of the biggest lows.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, I think that's just what life is. Life is like an ebb and flow type of situation. It's never. I mean, I think we always think like, oh, we're going to get to this place where we just plateau out and everything is okay. But I don't think that's necessarily realistic. I think, ooh, excuse me. I think it'll always be something else that's ebbing and flowing for us to have to experience and to like deal with.
Yeah, life ain't shit sometimes. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I agree with you.
So you got your bachelor's from Hampton,
Mhm.
master's from Georgetown.
Mhm.
First off, most people don't know like how exclusive a university Georgetown is, and no disrespect to Hampton. Hampton is dope too. But
Yeah.
yo, Georgetown.
You know, that's everybody's reaction when they hear that.
I
They be like, you went to Georgetown? I said, yeah, I went to Georgetown. Yeah. I was definitely there 2 years. I was there.
so what you get your master's in?
Public relations and corporate communications.
Okay, and in between those two, you had let me see, you were a waitress, correct?
Mhm. Mhm.
What else did you do?
Who told you all of this, or you just did your research? Because
I
I
did
don't even
well.
remember.
I try to look people up a little bit.
I don't even remember telling you all of
You didn't
this.
tell me any of this. No.
I know. That's actually I'm thinking like, hold on. He's
So
in a
wait.
whole
You just thought that you was just gonna get on. I wasn't gonna do no research, nothing.
No, I knew, but I didn't know me being a waitress was out there in the streets like that. That's crazy.
Well, you did. What is it? Voyage, Ohio. You did an interview with them.
Oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
You
Okay.
did. Yes. I'm not
Ah,
stalking you or no shit. It's on your link. I mean your link tree.
ah. I didn't think you was stalking me. I just thought you either had a really good private investigator, or you had some,
I ain't
you
got no
know.
damn budget.
Oh, okay, no. But yeah, I ended up serving. But yeah, Pooh, you okay? You want your juice? Or you? Okay, I'm sorry. Bonus daughter's talking to me. Y'all know how it happens, kids. Um, no. So basically, yeah, I ended up serving 2 years out of Hampton, and you know that happened because it's a lie going on in the world where they try to tell people. I think mainly from our type of communities that if you go to college, you know you'll get a great job and you'll be good, and they don't tell you the real nitty gritty that college is really nothing but a place to network
Yeah.
and to try and prove to employers that you can show up somewhere consistently for 4 years, complete a set of tasks in a decent manner, and finish something, right? I mean, that's
Hmm.
all. That's all it's really showing them. So again, college is just another what is clogged in this industrial complex to which we face.
You don't
And
regret it though, do you?
I could have saved a whole bunch of bread if I didn't if I did if I didn't, or maybe if I would have done something else, you know, like maybe join the Peace Corps, go and get some like real life experience, because even doing all of those college things, right?
Hmm.
Finding a job is still difficult. I mean, even in today's realm, I thought getting a master's, I'm like, I'll be good. I'm in the money. Eh, eh. Now, people look at me like, you got a master's degree? You overqualified for this job. Wait, what?
You
Hold
know
on.
what? I will say in our community, we do, as especially college graduates that I've seen and known, do a very poor job. If you aren't in like a sorority or a fraternity, they do a really horrible job of teaching the art of networking to high school seniors and juniors so that when they get to college, they can hit the ground running and understand who you know is more important by far than what you know.
Yeah, yeah. I had a it was a guest speaker that came in and told us that. That was my senior year. He was like, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. We was in sports management because that was my major in Hampton was sports management and marketing. He was like, how many of y'all want to be sports agents? Raise your hand. About me included, half of us raised our hand. He was like, I'm gonna tell you this now. None of y'all are gonna be sports agents. And it was like, oh, hold on, what's happening? I thought I had something lined up with a sports agent out in Cali as soon as I graduated, but he was like, are you sure you can come out here and intern? You know, it costs a lot of money, woo, 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 woo. And, you know, people were trying to talk me out of just hoboing it off to California like all the other people who end up in California do. Um, that was one thing I would have definitely went and just hoboed on out to California because he would have been able to put me in a circle for me to know who I was supposed to know and potentially gain a client and just do what I need to do for me. Instead, I ended up in West Bumba somewhere working at Outback, trying to figure out how to get out because, again, your network is your net worth, right? All of my family members were blue-collar workers. I definitely was not coming back to Cleveland to work in the factory. That's what I wasn't about to do. No offense to everybody who works in the factory. That's just not for me.
That shit
So,
ain't easy.
nah, it takes a strong person, just like it takes a strong person to work in the call center. That ain't for me either.
I
So,
worked at a call center for like 2 days.
yeah, me too. I think I got there for 6 hours, and I said I had to go.
Yo, I remember my daughter calling me once. I'm pretty sure she was at a call center. She called me on her lunch break. Like,
Hmm.
Daddy, I want to quit. Fuck it, go ahead. This
Right,
was she was in
right ahead.
college. Like go ahead. Like normally this ain't the way you supposed to do it, but this a call center, sweetie. I don't really care.
Yeah, that part. That part. It's okay. It's okay.
So,
So,
what was the biggest lesson you learned as a waitress?
I think what waitressing taught me was just how to deal with people, like all different type of people, and just interacting with individuals and not being shy. Because people think waitressing is hard, but have you ever walked up to a table of people you don't know to be like, "Hey, how you doing?" that
Yeah, and then you gotta
that
be
it's
like
it's
you
a
gotta
little
be
weird.
engaging every time.
Yeah, exactly. You have to keep that same energy because if you don't, then they gonna mess you up on your tip. And that's the other thing. People think like, oh, waitresses get paid a lot of money. Waitresses get paid a lot of money. No, we don't. We do not. Waitresses make maybe 213. At least when I was waitressing, that's what you got paid hours. 213 an hour plus tips. That was it.
So, are you one of those people that irregardless of the service, you're supposed to tip the waitress or waiter?
No, I wouldn't say that because at the end of the day, you're still supposed to do your job. You know, you're still supposed to pay attention to your tables, make sure the drinks are refilled, make sure their food is okay. It's a formula to being a good server.
Okay, all right. So then you fast forward, you end up teaching, correct?
Yes, yes, I started teaching when I was actually in Georgetown because, haha, I need money. I live in D.C. It ain't cheap out here, y'all. And
It
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 wasn't
is not
nobody
cheap.
sending me no type of bread. So, I started teaching, and then unfortunately, for people who don't know, this kids are addicting, especially the little kids. They're addicting because you know you come in, they pull on your heartstrings, they want to give you hugs, they want to draw you pictures, and they want to give you cards. It's just yeah, you become how can I say it? You feel I guess, purpose work with working with
Okay.
kids because you can see the difference that you make with them. When you teach a kid something that he doesn't understand, and then you see that light go off in their eye, you can see that. Um, so yeah, I think that's how that works around that
So
time.
what grade did you teach?
I've taught every grade from kindergarten up to college kids. So
Which one did you
I've
enjoy
been in
most?
I've been in the teaching game for about 9 years now.
So you still teaching?
Yeah. I mean, that's Speakeasy. We have our love curriculum. so we're contracted out. We teach social. We lead a social emotional intelligence leadership workshop, basically
Hmm.
teaching kids how to establish a sense of self and basically control their emotions.
Okay, so
So I'm definitely in schools.
in controlling your emotion, because it ain't just kids that need to learn that; it's us adults too, probably more so. Um, what's rule number one?
Breathe. Breathe and step back.
Actually,
Just breathe and step back. Just breathe and
I
step
went
back.
to an anger management class a long time ago, and that's pretty much what they and I still use that shit to this day. But that's
Yeah,
exactly
you
what they
gotta do
told
that.
me.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
gotta do that. I count down from 10. I count down from 10 with anything. Because I get irritated quickly, and I realize one of my first responses to something is anger, right? But most of the time, when you have a first response such as anger, that's because you feel out of control of the situation. You don't feel like you're in control. So when you get angry, that's you trying to regain control of the situation at hand, right? Um, but yeah, it's just about breathing and stepping back. I mean, that happened to me the other day. Somebody sent me a text message, and I read it with emotion, right? And I was like, okay, let me put this down. I went on a walk. I didn't even respond to the text message. I went on a walk, and then I came back, and I read the message again. And you know that message said something totally different
really.
than what I thought it was saying before. It said
So,
something totally
you
different.
do you think that's nature or nurture?
I mean, human nature, we are emotional beings at heart. Like, our first response to anything is going to be emotional. That's why, I mean, our brain is structured like that. It travels through the amygdala and it goes up to the cortex. But the thing is like, if you experience a highly charged emotion in that moment, you undergo an amygdala hijack where that whole situation just sits in your amygdala. It has not traveled to the cortex yet where the logic kicks in, right? So if the logic hasn't kicked in, you're probably going to end up doing something that I may not be beneficial. You might regret, or later on you might be like, "Yo, it was not that serious for me to respond that way." And that's the other thing. It's about responding, not reacting.
So, you count down to 10, you go take a walk, you come back, and it's a completely different message?
I mean, the words are the same, but it wasn't. I wasn't reading it from the defensive position I was in,
Okay, I got you.
so I was cool with that.
Okay. So, at what point do you decide, I want to help my people?
I think I've been that way since I was born. I wanted to be the president of the United States before I realized it was a puppeteer position. But uh, yeah, I think that's just in my nature to help and to be of service. Uh, it's not really about fame for me. I don't care if nobody knows me. I'm good on that. Uh, but it's just about my impact. I'd rather make an impact in the world and leave it a better place than when I got here.
So, how do you define a better place?
A better place is how did I activate healing spaces, right? If I activate healing spaces and people come and get healed, that means I did something to make it better. That was the same thing. Me and my boyfriend, we went into Grafton the other day. That's the jail. Is it a county jail, baby?
My brother
The
was
who?
there. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's a correctional institution, right?
Yeah.
And we went into Grafton, and I was teaching love in Grafton. And but yesterday we went in there for like a poetry slam to spit some poetry. And one of the men who had taken my love class came up to me and he was like, "Yo, I'm starting to meditate now." I was like, "Oh, for real?" Because that's what I teach too. I teach people how to like meditate, and just like, I mean, it's so simple to be honest. Like the stuff I teach is easy. I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh, it's rocket science or anything like that. It can be easy to some but difficult to others.
Mm-hmm.
The whole purpose of love is just to create the space for people to take time for self. And right now, in this society that we live in, we don't really take time for selves. We doing everything. We always plugged in. We either scrolling, we either watching, we either playing. But are we really just being still and sitting with ourselves and like really asking and working through our emotions and how we feel. And sometimes that can be uncomfortable, right? Some
Yeah.
people have done horrendous things to the point where they scared to close their eyes because they have not forgiven themselves yet for what they have done. So that darkness scares them. It's a lot to it, but as far as the impact, to answer your original question, it's just really about what can I make a difference in that moment. And so I've activated healing spaces. We got the data back on Speakeasy. Um, 94% of the people who attended said that Speakeasy has helped them heal their trauma directly. So
How do you forgive yourself?
you have to ask it. I feel like you have to ask yourself, why did you do something? Like, what what was the reasoning? What was the logic? And what motivated you? How was your decision informed then? Was it a trauma informed decision? Like, did you make that decision because of something else that happened to you in your past? Or did you make that decision off of right now? And when I mean trauma informed is, let's say you have trust issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have trust issues because people have gone in your past and done some wild stuff to you, right? So
Yeah.
all the new people that come into your life, you don't trust them. And it's like, is that based off of what this new person has done, or is that based off of what other people have done in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you have to be careful with that.
I talked to somebody a while ago, and she had a really, really horrible relationship. And she
Hmm.
said that they had a trauma bond.
Yeah, that can happen too.
I had never heard that before.
You never heard of a trauma bond?
Not until she said that. No.
Yeah, trauma bond. That's like if my mother dies and your mother dies and we could connect. Or both of us having dead mothers, and that's it.
But the problem with it is like that's a, I don't want to say a healthy trauma bond, but a normal trauma bond.
Is it?
They had it, well, because most of us lose our parents.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, but let's say if you lost your parents when you were like 7 years old in a car crash.
Yeah, yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
um, if stuff like that happens, or let's say both of y'all have been shot, or let's say you're in a broken space and you meet this person and they're in a broken space and both of y'all are just
Yeah,
like,
that's not healthy.
bump the world. You get what I'm saying? But both of
Yeah.
y'all on that same mindset, so y'all build that bond together. No, that part isn't healthy.
Okay, your poetry, and correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say I saw you do a poem on YouTube,
Hmm.
and
That's
I
probably
want,
pretty.
huh?
I said that was probably pretty, you saw.
It was kind of like the burden of being beautiful.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Okay,
That's a
I'd
real
rather be
thing.
beautiful than ugly.
You sure?
Yes,
I don't know about that.
yes, you've never been ugly then.
I have. I got my wisdom teeth pulled out. I look like Shrek, merged with a chipmunk before.
Okay, that's not being ugly. That's having an ugly phase.
Nah, that's ugly. That was ugly. That was
But
ugly.
you had an expectation to return to normal.
Yeah, but I also understood. I got to experience what it was like not to be me. I definitely get different responses, probably solely based off of maybe the way I look, but I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
the way I look and my energy at the same time. Um, but even still, people are shallow. And on top of that,
Absolutely.
most people are attracted to the phenotype, not really the genotype. So when you're dealing with a bunch of
Okay,
people who are just
hold on, back up a little bit. I'm not that smart.
phenotype is like your physical appearance. It's what you see.
Okay, all right,
It's
my
what you
bad.
see. Yeah, it's what you see. It's what you see.
So
So
you
that's what that
think
is.
that pretty people have it harder?
Yeah. What was funny was, you okay? What was funny was one time I had my this associate of mine. Her mama broke it down to me, and she was like, pretty people got it hard. She was like, us ugly people, we ain't got no choice but to be with another ugly person. But as pretty people, y'all attract everything. And I was like, you know what, you actually have a point. Because when I step outside, I attract a lot. It's a lot of attention. I mean, but again, that's been that way since I was little. I didn't understand it when I was little, like why is everybody staring at me? But now, I mean, now I think if I'm walking with somebody new, they'll be like, yo, all these people are staring at you. And I'll be like, oh, they were? Because now at this point in time, and it's not trying to even sound conceited, but I mean, it just happens that way. I feel like to be pretty, you can. I read a meme one time, and it said, you're either an inspiration or a trigger, and both are medicine, right? So if I come across someone who is not showing themselves, then they're creating a story inside of their head about me already. Oh, she thinks she's better than me. Oh, and being in Cleveland, it's a color complex up here. Oh, she's light skinned. Da 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 da. Like it's like, whoa, friend. I think you're great. You feel me? Like I'm
Can the
not.
reverse be opposite though? Do you
What?
assume people are thinking that?
Nah, that's not an assumption. I've been treated like that, like outright treated like that, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not approaching nobody in a negative way, like, oh, you thinking this, or oh, you thinking that. That's not at all what I'm doing. Um, it's legit. I mean, I've gone through jobs like that. You feel me? Where I had superiors, they'll be insecure and they'll think I'm trying to do something. They start rumors on me, and I'm like, what's happening here? That's the other thing. Being pretty, the rumor mill just runs and just runs. Like even going to Hampton, I got into a rumor like I was slut shamed along with a bunch of other pretty girls. We were slut shamed, and people started rumors talking about we had videotapes out, being trains being ran on us, all this craziness, and none of that was ever true. None of that was ever true. One girl was actually a virgin all the way through college. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, people are vicious. People are vicious. People are vicious. I can honestly say that.
Wow. Now I will say that I do believe that pretty people get cheated on more.
Cheated on? Why
Yeah.
cheated on?
The reason I say that is because pretty people attract other pretty people. And the people that they tend to end up with have more options. Whereas you get two people that are just butt ass ugly, it's not too many people that really want to be bothered with either one of them.
So you saying that ugliness can be a trauma bond?
It can actually. I mean, you gotta think about it. When like if you some people grow out of their ugly and mature, the ugly duckling syndrome, and some people just ugly their whole fucking life.
You
Well,
talking about physical appearance or spirit wise?
physical appearance, spirit wise, that may come and go depending on what happens in your life. But just physically, some people are just an unpleasant visual aspect
Okay. Okay.
continually. But when you're in third grade and you're an abnormally ugly person, they treat you like trash, and that doesn't go away. Like when you're pretty in the third grade, they may treat you like trash, but at some point you get pulled over by a cop and he lets you go because you're beautiful. At some point you get a discount because you're beautiful. At some point your beauty is also, it may be a hindrance, but it's also an asset.
Yeah, I'm
For
not saying it's not a privilege. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not a privilege, but that's why it's so taboo to speak because that's what I said in my poem. No one ever talks about the opposite side effects of being
yeah,
pretty. You
yeah,
feel me?
yeah,
You can get targeted. If somebody likes you and you don't like them, then they can target you. You can.
yeah.
I've been sexually harassed at work by male managers. You feel me? Um, it's been hectic. The police thing that works sometimes, but not that often. Not as often as somebody thinks. I just beat a charge. Um, so it's not it's not all that it's cracked up to be. I think that was my whole point in saying that. I mean, and the reality is too is that we should not judge people based off of their appearances. I know some pretty people who are evil and really ugly, right?
Yes,
I know
yes,
some people who society would not consider to be pretty, but they are one of the most beautiful, genuine souls that I know. So again, I think, I mean, all in all, like beauty is, what's that word? It starts subjective. It's
Yeah,
subjective,
absolutely.
and it's up to the conscious level. I think it's a consciousness that denotes the beauty aspect within it. But if you're just going off of physical looks, then I don't think that's a smart idea at all.
All right, so you also actress.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
How was that?
I mean, it was cool. The movie The Cap just premiered. That was done, directed by Johnny Lump, Smooth Gotti, executive produced by Big Hef. That movie came out. That was a really good show. I'm also in the Lit, which is a series being filmed here. So that was really cool. The director of that is Rich. So I think I'm excited about all of this, honestly.
Yo, and
So
shout out to Big Hef.
yeah, definitely shout out to Big Hef.
That guy's a legend in the city. I got a chance to interview him. That was pretty dope.
Okay, yeah, he's a great interviewer.
Yeah, he is. Oh my god. Matter of fact, I think I posted a clip. I interviewed maybe a month ago. I posted a clip today, or was it yesterday? One of the two. This
Hmm.
is just a lot of gems dropped. What is it you like about acting?
Um, I think I just like the overall experience. I like good writing. I like seeing other people be good actors because that just motivates me to be dope. So I think that's what I like about it. But then again, that's always something too. As a little kid, I just always wanted to aspire to be an actress.
There's a guy. I'll tell you. I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Yeah. I've interviewed a couple people, and it might be helpful.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I try. I think that's
Okay. How
that's
could I
that's
help?
that's something that we need to do more of as a people.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Doing shit with no expectation of a return.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, but those are always. Ooh, excuse me.
Okay,
Almost passed my
that's the
bedtime.
second time now. Am I
It's
boring you?
always no, you're not. It's not even you. It's just I'm always in bed before 9. It's been a long day. I think that grocery store took me out a little bit. Yeah, it's time to go in the house. That's all this is. Time to go in the house.
I feel you on that one. And I don't know about you, but I got to work tomorrow.
No, I do not.
You probably don't go back to work till like the week after next or something.
Something like that. Something like that.
Must be nice. Yeah, got to work
You
tomorrow
okay,
and
Pooh?
Saturday.
You okay? Woo woo woo. Woo woo woo. It's okay. It's okay, baby. You good? Huh? You want to sit up here? Come, come on. We ain't that far from the house. She'll be alright. Come on, boo. Okay, all right. You bringing your picture? That's fine. Come on. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. All right, and we're back. Had to get the little one from the back seat. She's
She all right? She good?
yeah, she's fine. Like I said, it's just time for us to go in the house. You can't hear it? So, is it connected to the carver? It looks like it. Oh, oh. You trying to say hello? Nah, get out the camera.
Well, hello.
He says hello. Wave now. You want to wave? Okay. She just want to say hi. Okay, stop it, silly. Stop being goofy.
I
Look,
understand.
and you got, you
Yeah,
got
I've been there.
3 year olds. It's a real thing. It's a very real thing.
Oh my
Apolo-
god.
Apologies, everyone.
But you
Apologies.
you you in the beginning, man. I got grandkids.
Ah, that's so cool. That's so cool. This might have not been one of the smartest ideas I've ever had. I was just really trying to console her, so she wouldn't stop it. So she wouldn't so she wouldn't break out crying. That's really what I was doing.
Oh, but you ain't gotta make no excuses for having a life.
Yeah. Are you trying to leave that on? There you go. But yeah, that was about it. Okay, okay, all right. We going back to the back. Okay, you made your debut. All right.
She good?
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. I
So,
think she's
what's LJM and Associates?
That is my consulting firm. So I'll do project management. Mostly surrounded around DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So,
So you into like the diversity like scene or whatnot?
yeah, I mean, really, to me, diversity is just teaching other people how to accept other cultures, right?
Hmm.
Um, as well
I got a plug
as,
for you too.
okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with
Yeah.
that.
Well, my cousin has been doing that for the government for like decades now.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I would definitely let her have that conversation. I love talking to people who are in the same field, you know?
Yeah, we it's interesting. She recommended somebody I should interview, and I'm not the biggest person on diversity, to be quite honest.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I'm kind of quite the opposite. Um, but it was a wonderful conversation, a good build, if you will, about the benefits of diversity as
Mhm.
well as the negative aspects.
Mhm.
You know, I ain't sound like my man. Is he ain't no cop, is he?
Nah, he ain't a cop. Why you say
Cause that
that?
sound is that sound cop ish, like
Nah,
like
nah, nah, nah. There are no,
about to get me in trouble and shit.
nah. There are no secret agents over here on this side.
So
There are none.
I'm curious though, what made you go for Miss Black America?
Again, it was just a new experience. Um, it was just a new experience. I didn't know. I'd never been in a pageant before. I guess I had told myself I would try it. You know,
Hmm.
you age out before you hit 30. I wasn't 30 yet. So I was like, let me just go and try this. Ooh, ooh, everybody's up.
So what's next?
So, life. Life is next. So, I don't know, to be honest with you. Right now, I'm just chilling. I start school next semester because I'm getting my doctorate to become a licensed therapist. Um, but right now, my main mission is to make sure that my bag chasing aligns with my purpose. And I don't want to take any more detours to my dreams.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's really what I'm focused on, and just being present in the moment, and being joyful, and being grateful for everything that I have. I think that's what's important, especially for me to maintain my peace.
You want to go back to school?
Yeah, because I mean, all the degrees I have, they're basically taught in theory. You know, they're like theory degrees. It's not something I can really apply to the people in my community, right? And black therapists, or just therapists of color, period, are limited. It's like a black lawyer, a good black lawyer is limited.
I don't know. I think you're only as limited as you allow.
Mhm.
You can define the lines when you want to.
You can, but the thing is like when you want to charge people's insurance so that they don't have to pay you, it's just certain accolades that you need to have.
Yeah, you just went black.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm stepping outside of my vehicle now. So
Oh, I can hear
we
you.
have
I just can't see you.
yeah, just give me a second as we transition into the house. Sorry, we doing this moving thing. People, welcome to real life, everyone. Welcome to real life. That's me whistling for my cats. It's a very real thing out here. It's about to be cold. I don't know where everybody else is, but it's
How
going to
many
get
cats
cold
you
tonight,
got?
y'all. If I tell you the story, I'm gonna be embarrassed. So I started with one Goku, Mira, Bengaki. I started with one, and I'm right behind you. I started with one, and then that one had three kittens, And with her having 3 kittens, I was like, all right, we're going to give them away. But of course, people are like, oh, we want a cat. And then you never see them again. They don't come and get the cats.
I mean, cats is like a boring ass pet, though.
They're not. They're not at all. That means you never had a cat.
I have had a cat. It was very unenjoyable.
I don't think you had the right cat then, because again, I've never had that experience. These little suckers don't know how to sit still. They'll be everywhere. They'll be everywhere in this house. So they'll be all over.
Most people either prefer a dog or a cat. It's typically not both. You have a couple people that'll cross the boundaries, but generally speaking, different personality types enjoy a cat as opposed to a dog. I'm a dog person.
Oh, well, no, after having a cat, I think I'm a cat person. I definitely prefer cats to dogs, to be honest. Cats to dogs.
I could see that in you.
Well, that's because they're self-sufficient and they're low-maintenance animals.
Just getting ready to say that.
I don't have to go and, do all the craziness of, oh, let me take you for a walk, or, we can just chill.
That is a good bonus of a cat. They can take a shit on their own, do their own business, clean themselves. They don't really need you to do anything. But
Exactly.
you can't be, typically you can't be like, hey, come here. They just look at you like, man, fuck you. I'm
I mean,
cool.
I whistle at my cats come. So,
Yo, who did that behind you?
the belly pan?
Yes.
It's this artist named Jazz W. She's down in South Carolina.
That is dope.
Yeah, she's down in South Carolina. I'll unpack everything, babe, if you just bring it up. Is that cool? All right. Teamwork makes the dream work in this household. You got to bring the groceries in, and I have to put them up. So.
I hate the groceries.
Hey, Butters. Groceries. It's not that bad for me. I like groceries. That means we got food, but that's also me just trying to change the way I think about things, because I hate doing dishes. But then I remember, if I do dishes, then that means I have food.
That's a good way to think about it. I never thought about that, because I too hate to do dishes. Dishes
Yeah.
are really just a horrible ass chore.
I just don't like it. But if I have dishes, that means I ate. And if I ate, that means I have food. And that means I'm in the right space, because I know I'm in a good spot depending on how good the food is. If the food is nasty, I'm not on the right path, and I need to abort mission and re-strategize.
Okay, and I know we ain't got much time. I'm going to let you go after this one, but I'm not originally from Cleveland.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from Detroit.
Okay, all right. What made you come to Cleveland?
Long story short, I needed to change some things about my life.
Okay, that makes sense. So, but you came to Cleveland, I don't know, anyway.
Well, Cleveland is a lot slower than Detroit.
Is it?
It is.
Is it only slower because you don't know people?
No, I've been here for decades now. I know people.
Okay.
It's just slower.
Okay.
But what I noticed about Cleveland is that, and this is respectfully, the attitude of black folks is completely different than that of Detroit. And
unpack that a little bit more.
The reason being is that in Detroit, everybody is black.
Right.
If you get arrested, typically it's by a black person. You go to court, your attorney is black, and the prosecuting attorney is black, typically speaking, and the judge is black. When you go to school, your teachers are generally black.
Okay.
At least, like I'm 50, that was my experience. It was 98% black when I was growing up. When I got to Cleveland, that's not the case.
Right.
Cleveland is, the east side is black, and the west side was everybody else.
Okay.
I had never met a person that never left their neighborhood until I moved to Cleveland. It hasn't changed much. How do we change the mentality of our people in Cleveland?
Well, I mean, Cleveland is a victim of redlining. Cleveland is a victim of a lot of systematic oppression. So it's difficult. It's difficult to do. I mean, you can tell that there's nothing there, Pooh. You got to use that. You can tell that just simply by how people act, how they respond to things. That's real.
Is that gonna? Do you foresee that changing in your lifetime
I'm changing what exactly?
from that mentality into a more into a stronger position among our people?
Well, one mentalities are generational, right? So I think that's why it starts with the kids now. I feel like if the good work keeps happening, like the work New Era is doing, the work that Walter Patton is doing with ghetto therapy, the work that Speak Easy is doing, the work that Jai Catering is doing, where she's teaching kids how to healthy eat, right? What Cam is doing, Cam Fala is doing with Renewal Cleveland, where he's helping out returning citizens. I think it'll happen generationally, but I think again, it's not going to happen tomorrow. And being a revolutionary, we understand revolutionary suicide, and what that means is that we know that what we're doing now, we may not benefit from it, but other people will benefit from it.
Love that. If people want to get in contact with you, how do they go about doing that?
You saw the bubbles? People can find me at LJM, that's ELJAYEM_LJM. Please subscribe to my Patreon. That'll mean the world to me, because that means I'm getting paid for my artistry. And yeah, but I'm on Instagram mainly. I'm on Twitter too. But at that handle, you all can definitely find me.
Where did the name come from?
Those stands for my ancestors' initials. So it's my grandfather. There's two of my grandfathers and my grandmother.
Oh, all right.
But really, two grandmothers and a grandfather.
That's beautiful right there. Man, I'm trying to think. Damn, I wish. My memory is just trash at this point. But Minister Freedom said something really dope about naming his kids and the power of names.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of that. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but Minister Freedom is do you know Niggas Vu out of Detroit? They got an organization called the People's Action.
The only person I know out of Detroit is Payroll Giovanni. That's about it. I'm out here blowing bubbles and she ain't even around.
Payroll is dope though. Like I'm not gonna take nothing. That guy is on a whole nother level as far as hustling and making things happen. Shout out to him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. On that note, is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
I would just want to advise people to stay tuned. And what I mean by that is like tune into yourself, tune into your confidence within, as well as if you pay anything, pay attention. That's really it.
All right. And anybody can read a book. Not everybody can read the room. Shout out to Chairman Fahim. On that note, man, this has been a privilege and an honor. And again, thank you so much for your patience. Sorry about the little snafu earlier.
Nah, you're good. You're good. Thank you for being patient with me in my everyday life.
Yo, and if you ever need anything, hey, I'm right here. I'm off Lakeshore. Hit me up. Yeah. I didn't hear shit you just said.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I was yelling something to my boyfriend. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Shout out to him for being patient and allowing you to spend a good hour. Shout out to you, bro. I just want to say thank you. Shout out to you, bro. for loaning her to us for an hour. That was very dope, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, he's a dope individual. You should interview him next whole time. But I'll connect you and send you his information.
Yeah, please do. On that note, y'all have a good one, and I'm out of here.
All right, thank you.
No doubt. Thank you.
Peace, everyone.
Peace. Yo, again, my apologies. Yo, I'm not doing that shit no more. It's not gonna happen again. I can't guarantee you because life happens, but I come as close as I can to guarantee you that I will not have any echo issues anymore. On that note, I want to say thank you. That was a very beautiful conversation, and I do appreciate her taking the time, the energy that it takes to not only live your life but do a whole interview while doing so. That was beautiful. The gem she dropped was amazing. Shout out to Chairman Fahim. Shout out to New Era Cleveland. I do appreciate you, brother, for the recommendation. It was absolutely well worth it. On that note, man, you already know this is Jobs, and you've tuned in to another episode of Intellectually